Can you hear me, Peter?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September meeting of the Inland Wetlands Watercourse Commission. First moment of business is approval of the minutes. You guys go over them, read them. Any direction, any corrections, deletions, additions, anything? If not, can I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the August 6 minutes.
Can I have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Next is the public hearing for application 24-0WF, proposal by La Provenance Realty LLC and Weezy LLC to construct commercial improvements within both the flood hazard zone and upland review area on Lot 1 and 1A, Block 28A, 11 New Britain Road. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Have a second? All in favor?
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Commissioner members, for the record, my name is Stephen Judas with the Office of Cole Civil and Survey at 876 South Main Street in Plantsville, Connecticut. I'm here tonight with Art Shaler, Honda, Dave Quisenberry, QAM Architects, and that guy in the end there that we don't get to see that much anymore. Fargo is with us tonight as well. We're here tonight for proposed modifications to the Shaler Honda facility, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with. This is kind of a unique situation where our building straddles the New Britain Berlin line. If we look at our presentation drawing, that blue line is our delineation line. So the majority of our addition for this building is within the town of Berlin, with some small improvements within the city of New Britain. We are proposing some drainage improvements, which Bart is going to get into, and we have some floodplain filling as part of our application. And then floodplain compensation, which compensation takes place completely in the town of Berlin. The Shaler we've been working with Art for probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 years, trying to figure out a plan that fits the property and works best for his operation. It's a long road, but we finally have an application that we feel that suits everyone's needs and hopefully respects the town needs as well. We did file applications with the city of New Britain as well, so we are working this application with both municipalities at the same time, and we will be hopefully moving that forward with them soon. Bart, do you want to get into the? So Bart's going to give you all the details and take it. Thank you.
Good evening, Mark Bove from Cole Civil and Survey. This is the applicant basically owns all the property
came along with that.
Should I start all over? Or should I-
No.
We'll go to FEMA and get a letter of map correction. So that we've got that on the records, land records. I've talked to Jim about it. I think he confirmed at the last meeting that we did discuss it. It was okay with staff to do that. So in looking at elevations 60, you can see how it kind of meanders through the site along the side of the building, works itself up around and around the building in this fashion. We're proposing to take that elevation 60 and bring it around the proposed addition. That's our first area activity. We're proposing that to be about 13,000 square feet of activity for impacts within Berlin, a slightly lesser amount in New Britain, but that's part of the Britain permit. To compensate for that loss of wood storage, we're looking at this area on site, but on this corner, to compensate for that filling by creating about 20,000 square feet of associated volume. That is going to be big enough so we can handle both the impacts we have in our area, and if we can't find a place in the Britain, we'll also handle the Britain area within that area. That also goes along with some of our impacts because we're within the 50-foot Commissioner White pointed it out, and we have amended our map and we've amended our application to include that area within the 50-foot. Then there's also a small area of pavement that's going to be restored and repaved. We're changing elevation maybe 2, 3, 4 inches in this location and just repaving that in this area. But these are the only impacts that we're impacting within the 50-foot upland area. We're not touching the wetlands area per se. And in fact, as we're proposing this area now is curbed. We're going to remove the curb so we don't have a concentrated flow. We're going to put a bios filter along the edge of that parking area so it's got some pre-treatment before it goes into the river. That will provide storage during the much lesser flood events, probably the 25 and the 50s, as opposed to the 100-year flood events that are only going to be impacted by the sub area. But this will pretty much contains most of the flow for 99.9% of flood. It's only the 100-year flood that we're worried about in this location. And we think we've done an adequate job to compensate for the storage, and it's not going to impact the hydraulics of the work at all. Also, part of this plan, the way the circulation will work is the cars are coming through here, so we're going to repave this area also within that area. And again, that's going to have minor effects on the flood storage. Again, we're only changing elevations in 1 or 2 feet. I know there was a comment. I talked to Jim Horrible a couple, 3 days ago, and I guess he talked to one of the commissioners about potential for making sure that we've indicated on the plan that we're going to compensate for a flood storage loss. So what we've done is we've added a note on the plan, and this plan are attached to these revised plans, which show that additional that area. Essentially, I'm attached to on that plan, which is going to be certified by an engineer, which is going to be me in your record. It says proposed activity with the designated FEMA flood hazard area complies with section 4, number 16A of the Town of Berlin floodplain ordinance. The volume compensatory storage area, area B, noted on that plan, exceeds the volume of material loss due to the filling and construction of the proposed additions with area A and area B within the areas of Berlin and Britain. No building additions will be constructed within the established floodway. As I pointed out, furthermore, proposed mitigation will improve the flood storage area for lesser, more frequent type events. In addition, proposed construction activities will not increase overall flood storage runoff from the site, and no additional impervious services are proposed. That has been added to the plans. And if you guys would like to see the note, I've made a few copies that you can pass out. There was also some talk about certifying that putting that into the drainage report. But my suggestion is going to be, is once this is completed, we come back and certify an as-built plan to make sure that the as-built complies with the drainage requirements in that plan. So instead of certifying that the proposed plan meets it, even though we've added to the plan and we're showing it on the certified plan, we'll come back and do an as-built plan and certify the as-built that we meet those criteria as well. So I think that's a more complete way of handling it than certifying the plan beforehand, is doing it after the fact. In case we're a change. That is basically it. I'm open to any questions you may have.
The compensation area where you're gonna excavate, do you know, what do you expect the final elevation of that area?
We
to
don't
be?
anticipate coming down more than a foot or two tops. It's already paved already.
Okay.
So we've got the.
I'm curious where it falls in relation to the 60-foot wetlands delineation.
The 60-foot delineation will come back out here around the entire site. So we're going to be lowering that below the 60-foot elevation. Take away that. It may not show perfectly in this plan, but when you see it on the design plans, you can see the elevation as it comes down.
So then, are we saying that that will remain in upland review area?
This will
It's
still remain, this will always be within the upland review.
Yes, because the soil types don't define it as a well.
Well, no, because the wetlands are always going to be there, and then we're going to go 50 feet off those lines. So the upland is not soil type.
And it's going to be above the wetland
It
elevation.
should be above the wetland.
Okay.
It's
Just trying
already-
to get it straight.
It's already paved.
Yeah,
We're just
I
going
didn't know
to
that.
drop the elevation and repave.
Gotcha.
And that's enough, Bart, for both New Britain and Berlin?
It's enough for Berlin, and in case New Britain doesn't want it on their land, we've got enough down there to handle that.
Okay, so that's surplus parking for Shaler.
That's overflow parking for vehicles. You can see here, there's not a lot of vehicles here. At the first time,
There's 5 cars over there.
5 cars on that lot right now.
Okay, yeah, all right, I get it. Thank you.
And the other point to bring out is if we are going to have a flood, we're going to know we're going to have a flood. So we'll have plenty of time to move those vehicles out of that area, as opposed to something that's more of a flash flood nature along the edge of a road or something like that. They'll have plenty of time to move whatever vehicles.
In all the years that we've been there, the only time water ever came over the brook, it came over at the road, it wasn't over far end. And New Britain did work recently on the other side of the road to remove a bunch of brush and stuff that was in the brook. Because the last time we had those really big rains about a month ago, a few weeks ago, the water didn't even get halfway up the brook basin, whatever you call that.
And you are,
I'm Art Shaler.
okay,
Sorry,
I just
sorry.
want to, for the record, I want your,
Because we would normally have moved cars in that last storm, but it kind of came on quickly over a weekend and we were already closed. So we didn't move cars and I was a little nervous, but the water never came close.
anybody have on the commission?
You're gonna have the FEMA maps gonna be updated.
You can do a letter of map correction or a change, LOMC it's called. I tried to submit it before this meeting, but they're switching over from paper to electronic. And of course, you should probably know it never works out the way it's supposed to work.
Now, is that something we're gonna need, is that something we're gonna need to start construction, or,
Yeah,
so is that gonna be a problem for? Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, you can always make that a condition of your action if you feel more comfortable with that.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Between 62 and 60 in Berlin, how far into Berlin does that change?
oh, they only changed within the site.
Inside, so
Yeah, you can see on the profile.
they just moving the staircase a little further south.
I don't know if you heard what Marlo said, we could add it
As a condition.
in addition for
Right.
the map to come.
Right.
As part of the
Right,
condition.
and I would also put the as-built certification of the compensation as a condition.
Anybody have any other questions? Commission? Anybody from citizens have any questions for people from Shaler and their team? Jim, you're good with this, right?
Yes, we reviewed the information. As Mr. Beauvais mentioned, we've had a number of conversations in terms of, tweaking the plan. As far as conditions, the commission may want to entertain, comments to the effect of what Mr. Beauvais just mentioned. He's trying to work through with FEMA on the discrepancies, in the flood, that be, so noted, along with an as-built of the compensation prior to a certificate of occupancy on the structures. Other than that, from a staff standpoint, we're good.
If everyone has no more comments, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing 24-W6WF.
Can I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now I need a motion to approve or deny the
Make a motion to approve
with condition.
condition to FEMA map being updated and the as-built submitted and certified.
and certified. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you
Good luck,
very
gentlemen.
much for your time.
Next up, a regular meeting, application.
Hold on, just,
Yes.
I need, I got Shaler. Oh, okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Regular meeting, application 24-08W, proposal by DAT to construct a 3-lot subdivision and associated improvements within the Upland Review area on lot 6A, block 12F, 398 Chamberlain Highway.
Hi, Peter. Good evening. Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. Good evening. Tom Kokomo for DAT. I texted my soil scientist. You asked him to come here to speak on behalf. I haven't heard back from him yet. He said in an email that he was coming. I don't know. I haven't heard back from him, but I was assuming that, so we made the application, as you're aware. Prior to that, at the last meeting, you asked for the soil scientist to come give his report. I submitted his report. And then in the interim, I made an application for a 3-lot subdivision, as I suggested I would. I'm wondering if perhaps if he doesn't come, maybe would it be of this commission's preference to make this a public meeting? I see some of the neighbors here for that, and if he doesn't come, then he can speak on
Well,
in regard to the public.
I think we're definitely gonna have a public hearing, but also to, we have this from our town records from 1991, survey was done. And I don't know if you got it, Tom, but the wetlands delineation is far larger than what your soil scientist shows.
I haven't seen it. So.
I think it's something you should look into. We will have a public hearing.
Okay.
The commissioner vote to move it to public hearing.
Right.
Upon issue of the application.
Right.
So I would just, I guess, did someone give you that as staffs, and then
Yes.
if I guess at my request, maybe, or at this commission's request, however, okay, then let's move it to public. In the interim, I'll have soil scientists look at that.
Very
So
good.
at least if he's, for him not being here, being caught off guard, then that's fine.
Okay. So as far as, yes, Jim, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, Tom, just for your benefit, the planning department forwarded a copy of that previous site plan to us today, which was distributed to the commission. And I believe Lisa has a copy for you to take this evening. And the intention, I think, the chairman was looking for is for Mr. Cole to take a look at that information and be able to respond with the differences between the two, the two delineations. Yes, one is approximate, but there seems to be a significant difference in those wetland lines. So that, he'd be prepared to address that during the public hearing. That's all. We're not, looking to throw, new information out and have you have to react to it this evening, obviously.
Well, great. I appreciate that, Jim. Thank you. So then, then I guess I would ask this commission to move to a public meeting. And then in the interim, I'll do as you suggest, get this over to Ian. And then we can reconvene at the next scheduled public meeting.
So if there's no other comments or questions, can I have a motion to go to a public hearing on application 2408W? Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? We'll see you next month.
I'm
And
gonna stick
Mr.
around.
Chairman, that hearing would be held on Tuesday, October 1st.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, should I stick around for 166?
Next is application 24-09W, proposal by Newport 848 Farmington Avenue LLC to construct residential housing, parking, and associated improvements in an upland review area at 848 Farmington Avenue.
Good evening, Chair, Commission members. My name is Andrew Quirk, professional engineer and principal with Patrick Jones.
1 minute, okay?
Two.
I think some more people are running to just,
Oh, sure.
do you want to go ahead and leave? Oh, wait. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Okay, you have the floor.
Okay. Yeah, again, Andrew Quirk, professional engineer and principal with Patrick Jones and Associates. And I'm here tonight with Anthony Valenti-Tony from Newport Realty and James Sipperly, the soil scientist, to discuss the development at 848 Farmington Avenue. 848, Newport 848 Farmington Avenue is seeking an inland wetlands permit. Here. For the activity within the upland review area as part of the redevelopment of the site. On sheet B1 in your package, it details the overall site, which is a 4-acre site. It's bordered by the railway to the west, the Farmington Avenue to the north, the Kensington Volunteer Fire Department to the east, and land of the Berlin Land Trust to the south. Further down along the south is the Matagorda River. Approximately 2.3 acres of the site was delineated as inland wetlands, shown with the northerly limit here with the blue line as the northern limit of that wetland area. And then the remaining 1.7 acres are upland area. Sheet E1 in your set is a zoomed in view, which is the same as the left half of this page, which details the existing development known as Newport Center. The subject site at 848 Farmington Avenue is mixed-use development in the Commercial Court Design District, CCE2. And again, adjacent to the Amtrak to Hartford rail line, which makes it an ideal transit-oriented development. The existing building along Farmington Avenue was originally approved for medical uses on the first floor, which requires more parking. It's presently used as mixed use with retail on the first floor and residences on the upper floors. That change has resulted in a surplus of parking on the site, more than what is actually required by the town, and makes it prime for redevelopment to more efficiently use those areas. And the current proposal calls for using that excess parking for 10 additional residential spaces within the same envelope. Sheet L1 in your set shows that plan in more detail, and that's the same as the right side of this sheet. The proposed building has been carefully located on the site, given the number of constraints between the westerly property line, there's an existing large transformer to the north side, and trying to keep it as far from the wetlands and within the building envelope, the developed envelope that's there today. The existing pavement materials will be reused to the extent possible as base materials on the site for the reconstructed parking area and for the base of the building. And then the new parking area is going to be reconfigured to use the existing stormwater management system, which is presently on the site. And I'll go through that in more detail. Sheet Z1 in your package, which is the same as this comparison sheet, details the comparison that I'll go through. Again, there are no direct wetland impacts that are proposed as part of this development. The proposal calls for the removal of approximately 2,060 square feet of existing pavement and within the upland review area. And then that area will be reconstructed with 1,414 square feet of proposed building. The result is that within the upland review area, there'll be a 21% decrease in impervious coverage. The remaining area of the parking lot is to be constructed, and new landscaping and lawn areas are to be placed where the pavement is removed. And then there's no significant grade changes, and the plans detail the erosion controls in place. The stormwater management that was part of the previous approvals from 2013 include an extensive system of collection from the parking lot area with stormwater quality treated through a hydrodynamic separator within the parking lot, and then the peak discharge rates are controlled with an underground galley system, which is located in this area of the site. That same system will be used, but which meets the town standards, but the impact will be even less to that system. Again, there's a reduction of site impervious by 8%, and much of that is going to be this roof area. 4,684 square feet of that will be roof area. And as you know, roof areas carry a lot less pollutant loads than a parking lot. So there's a reduction in impervious, a reduction in pollutant loadings, and utilizing the same system will be an improvement in the stormwater quality management, quantity quality management. So before you, this proposal has, I think, a positive impact in terms of the upland review area, no direct wetland impacts, reduction in impervious, and I think there's a really innovative reuse of an area that has an over-designed parking lot and a good way to put that area to use. At this point, I think I'll turn it over to our soil scientist to describe his dome and then it'll be available for any questions.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, my name is James Sipperly. I'm a certified soil scientist. I'm also a Connecticut wetland scientist. Some of your faces look familiar. I haven't been here in a while, but some of the faces look familiar. I also feel compelled to tell you I'm the environmental planner for the city of Middletown, and I staff the Wetland Commission there. I'm also the wetland agent for the town of Portland, part-time, and staff that Wetland Commission. I also sit on my Wetland Commission in my hometown of Basra. I visited the site on October 26, 2023. Did you guys get a copy of my report? I have a couple of signed signatures if you don't have one. Basically, the wetlands were flagged using blue ribbon 1W1 WF15. And what happens was I started down here at the fire department. There's a little bit of a floodplain back here. So I started here, I went up like this, and then up here there's a drainage easement that comes down. There's a flared end that has flow, and then here's the railroad tracks, and there's a culvert that comes underneath the railroad tracks, and then this edge here continues down. There's a flared end and a culvert flared down here. I visited the site just before the meeting because I wanted to make sure no conditions have been changed. There was about 2 inches of water trickling through this culvert in this direction. Underneath the railroad tracks, there was even less. It was just maybe an inch or so, maybe 3 inches wide, trickling down. So this is a degraded stream channel, basically. There's wetland soils associated with the actual stream channel itself on either side. Those are classified as a Sitico, Shaker, and Mavid soils. Those soils are grouped together, typically as a complex, because they have the same physical characteristics, use and management. Whenever you see soil types like that, the soil surveys in the NRCS, they group them together. Let's see. So as Andy said, that there's not going to be really any direct impacts at all to the wetlands. I believe the 50-foot upland review area is shown on the plans right there. You can see a portion of the building is in, but this is a degraded stream channel in an urban area. There's not a lot of high function value at all to the water course. One thing I will mention also that's in the report is right along the edge of the parking lot here, it's a huge stand of invasive species. It's all autumn olive and multiflora rose. It goes, that was the most difficult thing of the delineation, was maneuvering through that material. I mean, the stuff has been there for a long time. The stems are like this thick. It's really invasive. It's really difficult. It goes right down to the edge of the brook. So I don't know if, mitigation of some kind, would be warranted. I don't know if you want to do that, because that'll just open up the parking lot to the stream as a visual. It might be better just to leave everything the way it is and let nature take its course. But I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have anything for? My only question would be, and again, this wouldn't involve really us, but it was medical use. Is there any chance it could go back to a medical facility?
That's a great question. So after this application, we'll be making the special permit and site plan modification application, and that will solidify these uses as part of that permit. So as part of that approval process in that permit, it would have to be these uses without going after another permit.
Okay. Then I can have to worry about more parking space or anything like that.
Right, yeah, because we reduce it from, presently there's 96 spaces, and we'll be cutting down to 80. And with this redevelopment, the required number of spaces is 80, so it will meet the requirement, but there's not an excess that then could be used for something else. So I really think that would be the finality of the redevelopment.
Anybody have any other questions? Nothing? If not, I'd like to make a motion to, well, first of all, because talking to staff, because there really is no impact to the wetlands, we can approve this as is without a public hearing. We still have to wait 30 days by our town.
Yes. Yep.
So,
Just table.
right, we have to table, right. Yeah, we got to table, right.
Make a motion to table the application 24-09W.
Got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
But point of order.
Yes.
You should make a motion to accept the application.
Motion to
Since
accept.
you didn't accept it yet. I'm staffing. It's my thing. Sorry.
Make a motion to accept and table application 24-09W.
Second, I have a second. All in favor?
Yes.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep. Next order of business are notice of violations. The first one is Lot 2, Block 127, number 552 Deming Road. I don't know if you remember, last week, we had our town attorney. And Jim, did anything go beyond what we talked about last week?
Actually, Mr. Chairman, I spoke with Attorney Capola early this evening, and she will be putting together a notice of I forget the exact legal term she's going to reference, but it's essentially notifying the property owner due to his lack of response that we will be putting together a potential legal lawsuit document to notify him of his non-compliance. And I believe that'll be mailed out tomorrow. So when we do receive it, we will forward a copy of it to each and every commission member.
And you expect anything to happen by the next meeting?
I would assume once the letter goes out, I would assume that the property owner would respond. Obviously, we have advised him sending copies of the agenda since April, each and every month, and he is yet to respond to the commission or show up at a commission meeting.
All right. All right, so we'll have to wait to hear from the attorney and property owner. Next, notice violation. Notice of non-compliance issued to Kokomo Old Brickyard Lane LLC and Kokomo Brothers on July 12th, 2024 regarding non-compliance with the restoration plan for 212 and 245 Old Brickyard Lane. We approved the plan on April. Up for the,
So as you're aware, and I don't know if you shared with your commission members, I was pretty responsive with everything you asked, with emails and so forth. I actually spoke to Ian Cole too, and he said, Tom, this is why I designed the restoration I designed. You probably should have consulted me before signing that. I didn't. Austrian pines are what he wrote here are not native to wetlands areas and can influence the environments and various ways. For instance, they can alter the hydrology of the area. And so I know Jim says it's not wetlands, and he's right, it isn't, it's upland, but when we dug down there and installed those, it's wet. I mean, that soil is wet. So it's a moist soil and some have died. I've relocated off the 6 foot as you asked. Everything, I don't know if anyone's been down there. I mean, the fence is up still. Whatever is alive is still alive. We removed the dead. All the other shrubs are there and thriving. But like I said to you, I wanted to substitute. And I wrote it a few times on an email. And I know you wanted it done beforehand. I guess we needed to come here. So I guess you tell me how you feel, and we'll get it done because we're ready, willing, and able.
all I'm going to say is that the restoration plan was forwarded to you from originally back in April. You approved it.
Actually, no. Let me interrupt.
Okay.
It was. I came in and I met with Jim and Jennifer at the. And it may have been for, I don't recall that, but I met with Jim and Jennifer in a, I guess, in an act to just resolve this situation in a manner in which you guys stopped hearing from the neighbors and we just complied. So I came here, met with Jim and Jennifer, and I signed it in their presence. I couldn't get those arborvitaes. I know that, I believe Mr. Pavano or Mr. White said we could get them somewhere else. And if you still want to put in trees that are going to kill animals and do and birds and species and whatever it may, then do in contradiction to what this commission's for, then I'll do it. I just want to bring it to your attention. I don't think anybody did their homework, and so I signed it. So tell me what you want to do. I really, at this point, I'm apathetic.
Well, again, you're right. I looked into it, and what you said is true. They're fine if they're not in the wetlands. Now, I don't know. I wasn't out there digging anything, but you're not in the wetlands. That's what it's called for. I don't know what to tell you, but that's what the owners wanted, and I think that's what we put in.
Okay, but now, so part of that was, a warranty issue. So there's a warranty issue. If they don't live because they're not going, because, I mean, I've done a lot of research, and you, like you said, you haven't dug. I have. I know Mr. Horrible hasn't. If they die,
I would not say that, but
you do. Okay, well that's fine. If you might, then I'm sorry for speaking out of turn. But if they die, I don't know, how can I keep going back and installing trees that are not? I mean, we moved 2 trees at your request, and the soil is wet. So I will put them in, but I can't warranty something that's going to die.
Well, well, you're not warranting them. The place you're getting was warranting them. And
no, they don't, Peter. They sell them. They can be good for 30 days.
again, all I can tell you is that that's not considered wetlands. I don't, unless you can come up with something similar to that tree, and we can run it by the other owners, I think your best thing to do is to put those, what's required.
I'm just, that's fine. I will put them in. I'm just putting it on the record that when they die, if they die within those 12 months, then I'm going to come back to this commission because I do believe this commission, and you're right, I signed it, and Jim signed it, and Jennifer signed it, and I believe everybody signed it, but I don't believe there was proper due diligence done. That's all I have to say. So without proper due diligence, and I believe this commission probably should have had made, there was a wetland agent's report, and it wasn't good enough for a layman. It should have been good enough for this commission, and the layman overruled this, not this commission, but whomever, and we signed something. Maybe because he's a lawyer, maybe because he works in that space with Mrs. Coppola, I don't know. It was signed by me, and I've already seen some die. I'm just putting it on the record. I will do it. When they die, I'll be back before you, and I'm going to tell you. I'll pay someone to tell you the reason why they died, and then we'll have to take it up.
You gonna say something, Jim?
All I was going to say, Mr. Chairman, that the commission took an action. There's an approval in place. There was an agreement between both property owners. The species that are recommended are available. I know that Commissioner Rogan, shortly after the last meeting, researched and found several nurseries in southern Connecticut that had more than enough of those Austrian pines available. And I would say at this point, we move forward with the approval as it was documented, and we go from there. I'll just make another comment that the Japanese pines that Mr. Kokomo planted are also not native to the area. So just for the record.
That's true. And I relied on a nursery, but I'm telling you what soil scientists told me, that they're going to create, there's going to get fungal issues from not sandy, not well drained soil. And you're right. So I relied on a nursery. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm going to put them in. You'll see. If they thrive, then the lawyer knows best. All right.
That's fine.
I'll see you back. I'll put them in. I don't know if it's Jim or if it's you, but as soon as it's in, I'll shoot you guys an email and you can come review it.
All right. Now, the only, and I have been out there. I haven't been able to get closer because you had all kinds of trucks parked on the corner there right by, and I couldn't get close, and I didn't want to start walking through the trucks that were there. And I was there last week a couple times. But if you don't, I don't want to walk up on that property.
You're welcome to walk on my property anytime.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Mr. Chairman, one other comment, if I could, to Mr. Kokomo, as was part of the agreement between the parties. Mr. Kokomo is to advise the town when and prior to the planting of the trees, when they're on site, so that they can be inspected to make sure they are of the right size and variety. In my absence, I would ask Mr. Kokomo to contact Micah Hearn so that he can visit the site and verify the condition of the approval.
Okay.
Now the only thing, and Lisa, I don't know if you have it there. Do we have a date that's supposed to be done by?
Well, I'll just tell you that I have that email from, I believe, Jim says it's Mr. Rogan or from Lisa. One of them sent me an email,
Yeah.
or maybe you. I'll call that nursery and I'll see if I can get it done next week.
Okay. All right, and yeah, like I said, call Mike, and hopefully we can resolve this.
Okay.
All right.
That's fine. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Yep.
The last thing is our December meeting. We'd like to change it from the 3rd to the Monday, the 9th. Is there,
I don't have a problem with it. I don't know what I'm doing.
I need a motion to change the date.
Motion to change the December 3rd meeting to December 9th.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Jim, was there any correspondence or anything?
Not that I'm aware of, Lisa. I don't know if you have anything that came in my absence, but I haven't been made aware of any additional correspondence.
No,
All right. If that's it, I can have a motion to adjourn. Yes,
I do have a question.
shoot.
So, a question that may require some legal advice, but, so we were given a site plan tonight for this Johnson Gardens, that apparently there's a discrepancy in the area of wetlands. Apparently there's less wetlands today than there was back in, when this map was done. So my question is, and I was out there and I saw fill material up against the water course.
Yeah.
And so my question is, if filling was done between these two surveys, and what is this commission, and property owners have changed hands.
Right.
What is the course for the commission?
I don't know if we should be talking about this.
Oh,
It's not on the agenda. I mean, we're past it on the
Right.
agenda. People have left.
Right. And you're right.
It wasn't a public hearing.
It doesn't make a difference. We're having a public hearing.
I have
Yeah.
multiple.
And Mr. Chairman, if I can just make a comment, Bill, I think your questions, comments, and the concerns of the public regarding, alleged activity on the site will be presented by all parties come the public hearing on October 1st.
Okay, I just want to have, I'd like to just make the town aware that that question's out there.
Yes, yeah, trust me, we're well aware of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but John, you're right. We really shouldn't be talking about it. If that's it, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, take care, folks.
Jim, I'll get a hold of you tomorrow or whatever. I want to
Yeah.
talk to you about a couple.
Yep, I've got a couple of appointments, but yeah, give me a holler. We'll be in touch.
Okay. All right.
thank you, Margaret.
Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you, Mark. We'll see you next meeting.
See you next meeting.
Okay.
I will not be at the next meeting
Okay.
or any.